Good morning, good day, good evening, whatever your time zones may be, it doesn't matter. We are here for Formula Euroleague and Formula Euroleague only. I'm Alex Bomberg. Joining me today in the booth, it's not Matthias, it's actually Adam Burns. Adam, special guest commentator coming at the last minute here, helping me out with a few of the issues with the signing into Twitch, hence the delay, but I hope you're all enjoying your Sunday evening, wherever you may be in the world. Adam, thanks for joining me, thanks for helping me out first of all, and welcome to this relatively unexpected stream for you tonight.
Yeah, hey Alex, and hello everyone. So yeah, guess who's back? Obviously wasn't gone very, very long, but nonetheless I've missed you guys, and I hope that you have missed me equally as much. It seems that we've got a little bit of lobby trouble here, Alex, so this will be a good opportunity for us to kind of catch up with the action and obviously what we've missed. What I could see from the session earlier on as I was watching before we started the stream, Alex, Maiko FPL_AMG 44 in the Mercedes is on pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. As I mentioned before, it looks like
so we know how crazy Baku is going to be. We saw the test race, not the test race, the tier 2 race actually, earlier, and that was absolutely crazy. 2 safety cars I think it was. Yeah, of course, Adam, I think you actually need to check that you're allowing your audio to be shared, because I don't think it's coming up on the stream. So whilst you sort that out, we've got the drivers running around in circles. Darth Fifa's lost his front wing. So, yeah.
Oh, so much for that surprise, guys, but don't be fooled, Alex is not pulling you. I am back, and I'm very much looking forward to us getting underway. But obviously this lobby, as you mentioned, Alex, a bit all over the place at the moment. Looks like we're going to have to restart and get involved in a new one, hopefully soon.
Yeah, just checked and you are back online, Adam. We're back in the house. Great to have you back. On behalf of Formula Euroleague, as I mentioned earlier, apologies for the small delay that was... we missed qualifying. You can see the full qualifying lineup on the left hand side of your screen. I had a few issues with Matthias not being here. I had a few issues with signing in. It wouldn't let me sign in. Then when I got the code to sign in, it still wouldn't let me sign in, so we had to do 2 or 3 more codes, and then it turned out Adam was still signed in. So by the time he signed back out and I was able to get in with another code, we were starting the race and starting the stream. So nevertheless, we're here, just waiting for one more invite, Adam, and we'll get going.
Yeah, in the meantime, just checking this all out, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Of course, I missed you guys last week. I hope you missed me just as much. But as I said, looking forward to getting back involved with Formula Euroleague, and a bit of a surprise appearance, I know. I thought I'd wait till next week, but guess while I'm here, let's get ready for some Formula Euroleague action. I cannot wait. And of course, Alex, got to talk about that Monaco race. Whilst we are stalling for time until the lobby is reset, what a crazy, brilliant race that was. And of course, our winner, Joran, in the Renault. I mean, I followed a lot of drivers' progress, and Joran, particularly last season, really impressed me in the latter half. So it does bring me a lot of joy to see Joran get that big win, and in Monaco of all places as well. So that's a very special race that was.
Yeah, big fair play to Joran for doing that. It looked for the majority of the race like it was actually going to be a Het camper who would pick up the win, or be in a strong position to challenge after getting pole and leading the first half of the race. But we had 2 or 3 safety cars, and I think in the first 12 laps we had 3 or 4 laps of racing, and Joran played his cards right and won big at the casino. So, you know, I'm pretty sure he's racing today. Obviously, we don't have the full list of drivers up on our screens at the moment, Adam. But if he is racing, we'll be able to see if he can pull off another worldie again. Can he get another win? Become a back-to-back winner for season 5.
Well, like Monaco, Azerbaijan tends to like that out. Having said that, Baku doesn't really operate in the same manner that Monaco does in terms of street circuit. Of course, there's street circuits, very, very similar aspects to those races, but at the same time, whilst it may throw up some crazy races, I'm expecting a lot of overtaking in Baku, of course, a lot of 90-degree corners, the long 1 mile straight all the way through, one of the longest straights on the Formula 1 calendar, with the exception, I believe, Hanoi, which obviously we haven't raced at this time. But it's going to be a tall order for Joran. He's going to repeat those heroics of... I'm expecting normal service to resume, and of course with Maiko FEL AMG 44 getting on pole position, he really needs to get a win to get his championship back on track. Of course, currently 4th in the championship, 57 points, 57 points I should say, behind championship leader FIFA. Maiko really needs to try and convert this pole position into a win, but of course we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Of course, as in with every league race, Azerbaijan can really throw a curveball into the calendar. It's always been one of the craziest races, both in esports and in real life, as it's thrown up a couple. Weather, it's clear. I'm not sure if we were expecting anything on that front, but just so for us to know, it's going to be clear all the way through. That's what would have been the conditions throughout the race. So no fixing of anything there. The admins just carry over everything from the start, from the first lobby to the second, and they will have to enforce that all the drivers within the top 10 start on the same tyres they qualified on. And I believe the soft would have been the favourable choice today, Adam.
Absolutely, and this track, as you mentioned before, we did a GPRL race together on this track not too long ago, and as you mentioned then and rightly pointed out, this track is quite abrasive on the tyres. A lot of 90-degree corners, a lot of slow corners, and obviously a lot of wheel spin that can be induced as a result of that. So the softer tyres will be the favourable tyre to start this race on, but of course the guys are going to have to manage their strategy, and as we said before, safety cars, I'm expecting 1 or 2 safety cars today, which could throw tactics out of the window, and if the drivers manage to get their strategy right, they could be able to take full advantage and gain some places today. But of course, in an ideal race where there are no safety cars, I would expect a soft medium or perhaps a soft hard if someone's not able to look after the softer tyres in that opening stint. But it's going to be very critical to manage those tyres early on.
Yeah, let's just look into the Tier 2 race earlier today. I'm obviously a driver in Tier 2. You know, would the soft to the medium probably isn't going to be the conventional strategy, because as you mentioned, Adam, with the sharp, some 90-degree low-speed corners, the tyres, especially the soft tyres, are so hard to conserve, and yeah, we had people pitting after 3 and 4 laps, so maybe I wouldn't expect to see many drivers go for a one-stop, especially from soft to medium. We may see a few try soft to hard, but as you mentioned, with the long corners, they tend to lean on the tyres quite a lot. So going on harder tyres can start to can cost you time throughout the length of the stint. So I believe drivers, the majority choice for the drivers, I'd imagine going to this one, do start from soft, medium, medium, which also tends to be the quicker strategy on the strategy panel as well, I believe. So just a little thing on that front for that one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, as I said, I think a safety car or two might throw the tactics out the window a little bit, and someone might be a bit bold and daring, but you are absolutely right. I mean, the way that the nature of this track is and how abrasive, as we've mentioned, it can be on the tyres, especially when you're following another car through that tight castle section, you really cannot afford to get it wrong or lose grip, where you end up doing a Charles Leclerc, not just in the real life Formula 1 world, but in the virtual one as well. So you don't want to look stupid going into that famous castle section. So yeah, a 2-stop might be the way to go, but I just got a funny feeling we're going to see a few safety cars today that might gives someone that opportunity, that unique window where they may be able to get away with a one-stop strategy. And of course, it could be a huge success story, but then equally be a risk that could be too far, and they may end up embarrassingly at the back. But that's part of the fun of the back. That's why we love it so much. It throws up so many different scenarios, so many different possible outcomes. And of course, over the next hour or so, we'll find out which story is going to be written today. Whose day is it going to be? Of course, plenty of that's out there, but it really could be anybody's race. There's literally no one in that field that I personally believe, especially after what we see in Monaco, Alex, that can't feel that perhaps if the stars align for them today, that they have a chance of winning this race. I can't see anyone not thinking that today.
Yeah, of course, with the nature of Baku, but not necessarily just a win, just even a podium. You know, look back to 2017, Lance Stroll picking up his, as of so far, as of the time of recording, his one and only career podium. Sergio Perez named the podium snatcher following 2 podiums here. We'll turn that into our little question of the day, Adam. Which 2 years has Sergio Perez claimed a podium at Baku? Little simple one for this week, whilst maybe we think of one for a little bit later on the stream, but for all of you watching currently on the Formula Euroleague Twitch channel, which 2 years have Sergio Perez scored a podium here at Baku? Do you know this, Adam?
I believe I do, but I'm going to let the guys in the chat to have a go, and then I will reveal that answer to you a little bit later on, Alex, if that's alright by you.
It's fine by me. A little bit easier one than you've done before. I always think back to GPRL Silverstone, where you whipped out a question that I believe dated back to the 1950s.
Ah, yes, I do remember that. What was the highest podium position from Silverstone? And it was in the 1950s, 1954, I believe, from 28th position. And those were the days, obviously, when Formula 1 used to run as many as 30 cars, and that definitely brings up memories. Of course, they're not always as hard as this one. Azerbaijan, not a rich history in Formula 1, only been on the canvas since 2016, but of course, despite not having such a prolonged history, Alex, it certainly brought out plenty of famous moments that we can recall on quite fondly. Of course, as you mentioned, Sergio Perez getting podiums, Lance Stroll's one and only podium as well, Sebastian Vettel losing his cool, the red mist descending on his face in that battle with Lewis Hamilton, almost to drive into him, if you could imagine that, practically fighting him with his Formula 1 car. And of course, one of my personal favourites, Romain Grosjean, completely binning it under the safety car and famously blaming Marcus Ericsson for that one, who was nowhere near him at the time, which obviously brought out the "it was Ericsson hit me" meme. So,
which is still in circulation today, nearly 2 years, or more than 2 years, following on from that Grand Prix a little bit more recently. Remember Ricciardo and Kvyat down the escape road? Ricciardo,
yes,
forgetting that his mirrors were there, I think. Let's hope for the sake of the stewards that we don't have too many incidents like that today. I'm hoping not. As you said, as you touched on earlier, Adam, we've got a very talented field, and really looking forward to see who's going to prevail in Baku.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few drivers, of course, we'll be looking out for in this championship battle. As we mentioned already, Dar FIFA leading this championship at the moment. Of course, he's got a couple of wins under his belt already at the start of the season, and he's been very, very consistent, I would say. He's always been scoring very high. Of course, Kai Eltink, another one, has got a few Grand Prix under his belt this season. Our most decorated qualifier so far this season as well. And
most decorated? I've heard that one before.
In terms of I wonder who we could be talking about.
Little nod to a few people there who I'm sure they know who they are in the chat, but most decorated qualifiers, you mentioned that. Sorry to cut you off. Thought I'd throw that one in there.
For some reason, Alex, I had just had this the phrase "ogres are like onions" running around my head as soon as you mentioned most decorated as well.
Yeah, I don't know where that could come from, Adam.
No, me neither.
No. So for those that understand that, I think we'll completely probably be dying laughing. The others, I'd like to apologise. Just ignore us.
Well, if you want, we could repeat and continue with that scene of Shrek, one of my favourite films. If you like, a little bit later on, if we need to buy time, we can always do a little try our feet or dip our feet into acting, perhaps a little bit, and recite some famous lines.
Maybe under the
From that
5th
film.
safety car, we can dabble into our acting careers. Hopefully, George Lucas is watching. George Lucas?
Well,
I believe he was the director of Star Wars.
Oh wow, Alex, I was almost disappointed there. I was like, I was worried what you were going to come up. But yes, George Lucas absolutely loved his work. Although, I don't know about you, maybe this is something we'll put out to everyone, obviously whilst we're waiting for the grid to form. But I've seen all the films, all 9 Star Wars films. I've seen
I'm a
the
hardcore
Clone Wars
fan as well.
animated series, absolute hardcore fan of Star Wars. But perhaps this is an unpopular opinion, or at least it used to be. But I'm more of a fan of the prequel films, and in particular Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh, controversial.
It is, although I will maintain my favourite film is The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. I mean,
I can agree with you. That
beat
is
that ending.
top notch.
But of course, we've got a race to commentate on, and we've got the guys now on their formation up, guys. So make sure, of course, if you are new to Formula EuroLeague, obviously our races are streamed live on Twitch, our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Formula_Euro_League for both of those. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, just let you know you can watch these races live on the Twitch channel. But if you prefer to watch us on YouTube after the race is done, you can still do that. And of course, that's Formula_Euro_League on the YouTube channel as well. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Really does help us out if you support the channel. So thank you very much for your continuous support, guys. And of course, Alex, coming back to this once and for all, it looks like Maiko with some very, very decorated company behind him. Very quick drivers. You've got Compassion behind him. Very quick driver in the Williams, who, needless to say, Alex, definitely going to have to wipe the memory clear of what has happened so far this season. They've gone 5 races in a row without scoring a single point, double retirements almost every single race. And considering these guys were the Constructors' Champions last season, can you imagine or try to describe what kind of pressure these guys are under right now to deliver? Of course, it's a new lineup as well, we must mention, but a lot of pressure on these guys' shoulders to deliver points for the Williams team.
Yeah, first I'd like to apologise if you can hear a jet engine in the background. That's in fact my PlayStation. I believe that's a little bit warm, so that's cooling down. But yeah, Williams dropping their lineup of Luke, who left the league, and Tim, who's now with Ferrari, who just qualified inside the top 10 on their medium tyres. But yeah, all new lineup for Williams. It's a strong lineup. Compassion, 99. Won a couple of races in VRL F2 last season. He's a proven race winner. Very, very fast driver. Further back, Monster as well. With all due respect to Monster, I wouldn't put him on a pedestal with those of, you know, your Maikos, your Darfifas, your Kais. And on paper, I'd say maybe he's a number 2 driver, but he's a very, very solid number 2 driver, and to be fair, is capable of an upset.
Well, he's shown a lot of impressive pace this season, like some very good Monster in this championship, but of course, we'll talk a bit more about him later on. As we're lining up for the grid now, Alex, time to send them on their way.
So we've got the top 9 drivers starting on the soft tyres. Tim Wenting, the only driver to qualify on their medium tyres. Got 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. Look but never stare. It's lights out and away we go for the Virtual Grand Prix of Baku. It's an incredible start by Kyle Tig, who sends one down the inside of Compassion, who's dropped so many places into turn number 1. Really low res, might have gone into anti-stall there. Kai down the inside of turn number 2 of his championship rival. The contact further back, I believe that's Compassion, who's had an awful start. Kai ahead of Micah, but here comes Micah back down the inside of turn number 3. He's not quite going to leave a nose in there. What a start by the Racing Point driver, up from 3rd into the lead. Meanwhile, Darth FIFA up into 3rd, occupying that final podium position as Monsters made up positions in a successful start for his first couple of corners in that Williams team. Kerem has gained a few, and last week's race winner is just ahead of his teammate up in P6, Adam.
Oh, well, it's a terrible start for Compassion, Alex. I mean, he got a poor getaway off the line. He got completely gazumped by Kai. Obviously, he had a bit of damage on his front wing as well to boot at the end of turn 2. Now he's struck him down in 11th, and he's falling down the order. He may have to pit early, but What a nightmare start for him. Further up the front, as you mentioned, Kai, what a getaway from him. He really needed to get on the pedal early and try to make the move on Michael. Completely caught him napping, but it looks like he's in the lead at the moment. He's going to have a tough time to fend off those two Mercedes. Of course, Darth FIFA in third place as well. Monster making up places as Sem has shockingly retired as well. So
Sem already out. Safety car. The safety car has been deployed, and it's been a lap. So, yeah, a lot of carnage, to be fair. As you were talking, Adam, I saw Compassion went into the wall again at what I believe is turn 16, the awkward downhill kind of off-camber left-hander, where we see a lot of drivers take a lot of liberties on that inside curb. He hit the wall again, so there would have been debris across the track. Plus, I believe Sem has crashed out at the same spot actually, so 2 in 1 go there, and we've got a safety car for that. To be fair, I think this is a justified safety car. It's not quite as bad as where they used to be called out all the time, but we've had Ice-T box.
Yeah. A few drivers have pitted, including the former race leader Kai Elting, so he's pitted very early, Alex. I mean, we were talking about strategy just about not long ago, but Kai Elting already putting on those hard compound tyres. Now, surely he's not planning to go to the end on those. I'd imagine that's got 2 stop written on over it, and he's going to put on another set of soft tyres perhaps towards the end, or of course, as we talked about earlier, might be gambling at this stage of the race on another safety car, which may bail him out and of course put him in the optimum strategy later on. But that is a huge risk so early in the race after taking the lead in spectacular fashion, Alex.
Yeah, to be fair, I think if Kai was looking for a 2-stop, he would have gone to the medium tyres. Then again, there's still 13 laps on each tyre. It's probably doable with an expected 2 more laps of this safety car to go on, so I think I may be eyeing up a 1-stop, because if he wanted to make another stop, I'd personally assume that he would go for them medium tyres. But who are we? We might be able to see an interesting strategy play out a little bit further forward. That's promoted the Mercedes boys to 1 and 2, so they've got a very strong driver lineup. I believe Darth FIFA actually switching to Mercedes after last round.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Of course, Darth FIFA was speaking to me in the off-season about how happy he was to be coming back to Ferrari, but as we can see, despite a good start for the Ferrari team, although in fairness a lot of it was in part due to Darth FIFA's early success rather than his illustrious teammate Ardapple Gamer, who's struggling to find form. But yeah, a bit of a surprise in this driver change. Since the Williams team obviously had to replace their drivers, it has shaken up the field a little bit, almost as if it's like a WWE draft where people just change all over the place. But yeah, so that's a very successful looking team. Of course, the top 2 finishers from last season in the same team, so Mercedes look like a very good candidate to win the Constructors' Championship with that lineup. Of course, currently running in 3rd position, 55 points off Racing Point, so plenty of work to do to catch up. But going back further again, as we mentioned on Kai down in 15th, I absolutely agree with you, Alex. I think mediums would be the better way to go if you were going to be stopping twice. The reason I would go for a harder, maybe the soft option later on, I just cannot help but feel that Kai has taken a gamble on the fact that there's going to be another safety car where everyone else will pit, and he'll take advantage of that later on. And even then, of course, he may carry on with the hards for the rest of the race, because right now, Alex, you can very easily get bogged down the further down the field you are. Of course, the concertina effect of going through corners behind people, you're always losing ground to the cars ahead of you that are much faster because without the traffic, and obviously the fact they've got clear air to boot. So that's a huge gamble from Kai. I mean, he had no damage on that car. I was watching his pit stop. He didn't have to change his front wing, so I personally am a bit surprised by that decision by Kai. But of course, we've got 24 laps to go in this race. We'll get this safety car out of the way where we can get some green flag racing. So I'll be very intrigued to see how that works out for him. I'll definitely be monitoring his progress as this race progresses on, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Should expect the safety car to be in this lap. We've got all the cars bunched up behind. Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously the chances are we will get another safety car because it's Baku, because we've got now 19 drivers following the retirement of Sem 12 2004 in the Red Bull. It's been a miserable 2 weeks for him, retiring in Monaco. But yeah, as you said, Adam, and just building on your point of the soft tyres I don't really think they're the favourable tyre, which is kind of why Kai has probably gone to the hardest possible compound, because the amount of conserving and how careful you've got to be on these soft tyres for the first stint, as the safety car does come in this lap. Micah will be pacing the field with his teammate directly behind him, but yeah, the amount of conservation you have to do to these soft tyres to just keep them alive and make sure you have any kind of grip through the crucially fast corners, which the drivers are coming up to now at no speed at all. Nothing compared to what they'll be like this time next lap, but yeah, it's really important to keep the tyres in check, especially the rear tyres, as you mentioned, Adam, earlier on in the stream. So many, slow 90-degree corners, they destroy the rear tyres and subsequently make the faster corners harder to corner and carry speed through. So that is probably Kai's thoughts, and I see where he's standing. But we got Micah warming up his tyres. He can wait as long as he wants. I think he's just about gone. Monster's got a really good jump on Darfifa, but unfortunately he can't go in here because we weren't under green flags. That's going to back him up into Kerem. They're going to be side by side, nearly 3 wide into turn number 1. The Hash driver tries to round the outside. Kerem might be up into third here. He's got a lot of squabbling into turn number 2. There's a bit of contact between Monster and Kerem. Uran gets through up into 4th. Last week's race winner has been on a good run so far. Is on the brink of a podium in that Renault team for the 2nd week in a row. A little bit further back, Vibe Freeze battling with Monster, defending from Tim Wentic, who's gained a few positions from his starting place. Blended Artipel Gamer going side by side now as Artipel Gamer gets down the inside. Both Ferraris solidly in the points, which is good news for them so far, Adam.
Yeah, Ferrari do need to take advantage of the fact that they're in the points position. Of course, losing FIFA to Mercedes is a big blow to them. But of course, Tim probably needed a new lease of life, a new car, less pressure to start delivering points. Same with Benjamin. He's definitely going to have to get his season back on track. We mentioned earlier, oh, there's a big crash, Alex. Monster and Yoran in the castle section. Huge crash there.
Yeah, VSC has been deployed, understandably there. As Yoran is reversing up the castle section. I'm not quite sure what happened there, Adam. I was looking a little bit further down the field at Artipel Gamer. What happened there, Adam?
Well, I didn't get the full view of it, but it looks like Yoran went in there first ahead of Monster, and I'm not sure if Kerem was involved in that incident, but what had happened was Yoran got it horribly wrong, went into the side in the castle section, and obviously the domino effect with that is Monster ended up driving into him and set up a massive pile-up, and Yoran, as we see, all the way down at the back of the field. He ended up having his car span round and had to reverse all the way up the castle section just to avoid other cars. Fortunately, though, it seems that everyone is able to continue their race, but as we saw, another virtual safety car.
Yeah, a VSC Monster's got damaged, so looks like the Williams luck is continuing. And as we go green again, so Tim got a wonderful jump on Freeze there, timed it perfectly into turn 1 and passed him on straight. Looks like Ferrari's luck is turning ever so slightly. 4th and 6th for them, currently running a good job. Tim's on course to score his first points of the season. Adam, you're squealing a little bit there. What's going on? A little bit further down the field.
Yeah, I was just watching the battle between Ice-T, Kai, Compassion and Bendel, and obviously all 4 of them were trying to go into turn 1 together, but Bendel losing a bit of his front wing end plate just for leaving his nose in there for
Maiko's gone off. Maiko's gone off. He's down in 6th.
Oh, no.
It's all going off here at the start. His front wing seems healthy. There was damage further up. Maiko's got a healthy front wing. I think what he's done is he's gone straight on down the around the outside of turn number 3, I believe. I apologise for not catching that, and that's going to promote Tim up into P2. Darfifa now takes the lead of this race. He's got a very healthy gap, but hit them tyres will start to be screaming. Kerem's up in P3, Adam, with front wing damage, however.
He does, yeah. I believe that might have been the aftermath of what happened with Yoran and Monster earlier, but as you mentioned, of course, Darfifa doing a great job keeping his nose clean, literally, and is now starting to pull away the front. Tim Wenting, brilliant job from him so far. This is more like it from Tim. This is exactly what Tim is capable of. In a brand new team, less pressure, if you think the Ferrari pressure cooker is less pressure, of course, and he's doing a good job. And of course, Benjamin, R-double game all over the back of Vibe Freeze, who is now pulled to the outside on the left-hand side now with the Ferrari driver. He's going to use Kerem as extra slipstream as Kerem pulls into the pits. Genius move. It's bold, it's brave, it's brilliant from R-double gamer, and he's up into third place, although it goes very, very wide. Oh, Tango with 5-3s, is he going to hold it? It looks like he's just about going to hold it. But Ferrari, Alex, second and third. It's more like it from those guys. This is exactly what I was hoping those two would be able to do today so far.
Let's not forget though, all of them drivers, all the drivers in the top 5 have another pit stop to make. Kai Elting, who's fought his way back up to 6th and kept his nose clean, crucially, is now up in 6th position. And in terms of his gap to the leader, it's only about 5.6, 5.7 seconds. So if Kai isn't making another stop, FIFA right now would have to make up about between 17 and 20 seconds, I'd imagine, presuming the gap stays as it is. But we do have Kai in some traffic. Of course, it's Baku. The chances are we get a VSC or a safety car, another one, come the end of this race. So there's a lot going on. But in terms of the leader, FIFA in the lead. He's the reigning champion. He's pulling a gap. He's doing exactly what he needs to do right now, Adam.
Oh, and I just saw Vibe freeze in 4th place, lose at end plate as well there. And of course now Kai's Paul looking for a move on his teammate for 5th and 6th position. And this is going to get very tasty now, because Kai's done a brilliant job to keep his nose clean, as we've mentioned, to get all the way up into 6th place. He's in prime position at the moment. He's going to be sizing a move on his teammate. The two racing points there, racing close together. What is going to happen? Is Ice-T going to defend off his teammate? Because right now Kai is proven to be a lot faster. Kai opens up the DRS, as does Ice-T, but Kai's also got slipstream from Vibe Freeze. But Ice-T just about staying ahead of him. He breaks a bit earlier, Kai, as he gets the fastest lap of the race. Oh, he's got a good exit now. He might try and get a move into turn 2. No, he backs off, thinks better of it. Of course, we remember in 2017, Alex, we had the two racing points of Ocon and Perez fighting each other, which didn't go as well as this one is at the moment. But it looks like for now, Kai just hanging in there in 5th place. But FIFA, former race leader, has made a pit stop onto the harder tyres, Alex. So, as you mentioned, it's advantage Kai at this point in time.
Yeah, of course. That obviously the buffer in them tyres will be about 5 laps, but due to the nature of them tyres being so hard, I don't think that's going to create a massive difference come the end of the race, Adam. And FIFA will have, well, the best part of 15 seconds to close up, plus all the traffic. He's got Killer 7, who's on the same strategy as Kai. Just ahead of him is, Ice-T gets a little bit caught up with Vibe Freeze there in the castle section. I'm not entirely sure what was happening there. I think everyone's emerged from that just fine, but it just shows the unpredictability of Baku. The stuff going off left, right and centre. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera to cover each of these drivers at the same time, because if we could, I'm sure this would be a race where we need to exploit it. Little thing, as you mentioned, between the racing points, Adam, I'm surprised they haven't swapped. To be fair to Ice-T, his pace is good, but I don't think it's quite as strong as Ice-T's, or sorry, as Kai Elting's, just behind him, because yeah,
well,
at the end of the day,
get interesting, Alex. We've got 3 of them going in there. We've got Vibe Freeze pulling to the left-hand side. Ice-T's already cleared it, but look at Kai. Look at the speed of that racing point as he pulls to the left-hand side. Able to use DRS and their slipstream. Brilliantly done up the inside, and he makes up 2 places on that long straight, famously, just like Daniel Ricciardo did a couple of years ago in the Red Bull with that triple overtake. Not quite as good as that, but still equally impressive from Kai Elting, who now up into 3rd place. And as we mentioned before, is looking in great shape to take the win. But of course, Alex, we haven't mentioned the 2 Ferraris, 1 and 2. Clearly,
yeah,
they don't seem to need FIFA that much, or they're not missing him, because they're doing a good job so far at the moment.
Well, FIFA, obviously the provisional, or he was the ex-race leader, as Boodable pointed out in the comments. FIFA, ex-Ferrari driver in 1st, Tim Wentink in 2nd for Ferrari, and Audible Gamer in 3rd for Ferrari. So, of drivers this season, Adam, it's a 1-2, or it was a 1-2-3-4 Ferrari. Fortunes changed, and FIFA back to Mercedes. Talking about Mercedes, it was looking good as a 1-2 for them. Not so, because Micah is behind his teammate by about 5 seconds. And to be fair, if Micah can get the hammer down, little reference to his name there. What's going on, Adam?
So looking at Compassion, I was just about to say he's done really well there to get further up the field, but he's gone completely wide there, and he's lost his front wing end plate. He went into the wall just as at the left-hander just before at turn 15 it was. He went very, very wide. He's lost the front wing end plate. He's really struggling. There's a virtual safety car, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of drivers with damage. Compassion getting a 5-second penalty for some contact with SVDL in the Haas there. So this is perfect for Tim and Ardipel Gamer. The Ferrari's taking the hard tyres as DRS is now enabled, so they'll get half a free pit stop, but this has got to get at least Tim out ahead of Darth FIFA.
And Ardipel Gamer had to double stack there. Ferrari had no choice. Almost, really. I mean, maybe could have gone another lap, I'm not sure, but the opportunity was too good. They both went in. So Tim, as you mentioned, Tim is out ahead of Maiko. So he's behind Darth FIFA, so he won't mind that too much, but Ardipel Gamer behind Monster down in first team, so that's really not helped him out. That's bogged him down a lot. We haven't mentioned SVDL in the Huts up into second place, and Danny Hetkamper, our Monaco pole position driver, didn't have an equally good race, is up into third place.
Yeah, let's not forget that I believe second and third both have damage. SVDL definitely does on that front wing. Hetkamper's looked fine actually, so that's good news for him.
Although he does have to pit.
He does have to pit. Yeah. So I'm just thinking now, Tim, and especially Ardipel Gamer, didn't get the best of that virtual safety car because it was only in for, you know, maybe by the time Tim was out of his pit box, it was undeployed again. As there goes Tim for a move on Magic Alonso. Bold move from him down the inside of that fast left hand. I believe it's turn 14. But yeah, he didn't get the full benefit of the virtual safety car. So yeah, has he thrown away potential opportunity there at coming out in the race lead, Adam? Or would it have been best for him to pit and maybe save 2 or 3 seconds to his rivals?
It's a hard say, to be honest. I mean, I personally probably would have done the same thing in that situation. Take advantage of the of that opportunity to change his tyres. Of course, he was on the medium, so they weren't going to be able to give him much more time anyway. So at this point in time, Alex, he's running in a net 4th place, but SVDL obviously has got damage, so he may have to pit again in this race. So I think Tim at the moment, if he keeps his nose clear, he's on course for a podium at this point in time. But of course, it's going to take some doing to catch race leader Kai Eltic, who we questioned his strategy call on the first lap when the first safety car came out, but he has played an absolute blinder, as he so often does. I don't know why we even doubt him in the first place, but well out in front. Of course, Danny Hetkamper yet to pit. SVDL, a massive train forming behind him. He's got damage on that car, so Darth FIFA in a nightmare position. He's got 3 cars to clear, and then he's got to find another 8 seconds on top of that to find the race leader. Right now, he's well out of sorts compared to Kai. Yeah,
and that's all within 16 laps. I've just seen AMG get past Magic Alonso. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Sector 1, I apologise. That's Vibe Freeze, who's gone, I believe, into the wall of turn number 2. I can't quite get a camera angle on it, but he's gone off.
Yeah, he has, and he's retired for his troubles as well. So another day where Red Bull coming away with no points. They've really struggled to score points this season. Of course, in the middle of the Constructors' Championship, but today 2 good drivers in good positions, and they have really not capitalised on that. So they will be getting a nil point today.
Yeah, nil point for the Bulls in red. Strange considering that lineup, especially Sem, VRL Season 4 champion, proven race winner throughout the PS4 League Racing community. I'm surprised for 2 weeks in a row he's not even had a shot at points come the end of the race. So I'm sure the Red Bull team boss will be maybe considering doing a Ferrari or a Williams and just switching things up in the camp a little bit if things continue to go against him. But yeah, that's for him to sort out privately. Meanwhile, Ice-T looking for a move, who's just made a stop down the inside of Kerem. They make a little bit of contact, lock up from Kerem, just keeps out the wall. Ice-T up into 9th. Did you catch that, Adam? And do you think that was a little bit aggressive from Ice-T?
A little bit. He certainly wanted to get a move on there. I mean, fortunately, Kerem managed to avoid any damage, but those are the sorts of moves where you're really on the line of legal versus pushing it too much. So I'm not sure if the stewards are going to have they may just note the incident, but I think it should be okay to carry on. I just mentioned it, obviously, Sem in the Red Bull. I as well, very surprised. A driver like him, very successful. in other leagues, as we mentioned, as VRL, that we're very familiar and fond with. But obviously it's not translated over in Formula Euro League, since I've seen him in this league. Whereas, of course, the sister team to Red Bull, Toro Rosso, which will be AlphaTauri in the Formula 1 game 2020 version that will come out very, very soon, up into third place, got a good move on SVDL, and still yet to pit, but running a solid race so far in the Toro Rosso, it must be said. So Donkey doing well, but he'll have a hard time trying to convert that when his pit stop comes up, but he's staying out for another lap.
Yeah, I believe we just, after this race, just mentioning, as you pointed out, the F1 2020 game there, Adam, I believe we've got 1 or 2 more races on this platform of game before we actually switch over to the new game. And by that point, I assume it would be normal service resumed with you and Matthias, but I'll definitely still be keeping up to touch, and that could be a massive shake-up. Honestly, I don't think some people anticipate the difference. We've been hearing, little murmurs that, maybe the handling model's been changed slightly, so or massively, I've heard in some cases. So that could really shake something up and change a midfield driver into a top tier driver if it suits their driving style, and vice versa. It could affect one of the top drivers like Kai in the championship and really have some big precautions.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, one of the features, we won't go into too much, of course, while the race is going on, but the handling model is changing quite aggressively to suit more realistic handling of Formula 1 cars. So gone are the days will be of drivers taking advantage of things like trail braking and, of course, shifting into lower gears to get that extra little bit of rotation just because the ballast supports it on this game. That will not be happening as much on the new game, so I'll be very interested to see who's going to be on top of it and who's going to struggle. Of course, so many different driving styles out there. It'll be interesting to see. But of course, guys, don't forget, there's a 2-week break from the release date of Formula 1 2020 to allow the drivers to get used, and we will commence with the second half of the season. Back to the action. Out on board with Darth FIFA at the moment, looking to size up and move on SVDL. I've noticed that Huss is very, very slippery in a straight line, but he paused into the pit lane, so that potential battle was gone. But Darth FIFA now released from SVDL and now can get after Donkey and, of course, Danny Heckkamper.
One thing that does do as well, Adam, sorry to cut you off there, but Tim has closed right up to the back of Darth FIFA after he was being held up by the Haas driver. So yeah, that has probably given Tim a little bit of encouragement, because this is for an effective P2 in the race, could become P1 if the tyre difference was enough for them to catch up to the racing point of Kai Elting. So we could see the battle for the potential race lead come the end of the race between these two.
Well, he's lapping faster than Darth FIFA at the moment. Of course, Darth FIFA had traffic to contend with and Tim had a bit more clear air, but Tim has struggled massively in the Williams team this season, and since he's put on the Scuderia colours, the Scarlet Ferrari, Forza Ferrari and all that, he's definitely looking like a new driver, the old Tim Wenting that we know and love. And you know what, I'm absolutely loving it. Hopefully Tim can obviously capitalise on this performance so far, but he's got half the race left to go. He could just manage to get a second place, and how sweet would that be for Ferrari against their former driver, a driver that they thought they'd secured longer term than they have, but I'm sure they'll be very happy if Tim can get the job on Darth FIFA today.
Yeah, and how sour would it be for Williams watching on?
Well, they're in 8th and 14th, so I mean, this would be the third different driver lineup combination that they've had this season. Could you imagine another race where they score no points? Of course.
Meanwhile, here comes Darth FIFA down the inside of turn number 1, side by side into the first corner. He squeezes out Donkey, and that's going to provide Tim with an opportunity round the outside of turn number 2 potentially. Can he hold it in there? He can. He's just given enough room. Excellent racing between the two drivers. As you mentioned, Tim round the outside in that Ferrari. What a move by the Scuderia driver. He's picked up a place there. Donkey going to look back to the inside there. Maybe probably shouldn't have picked that fight with Tim. He's going to try again.
He's still trying.
Interesting tactics there from the AlphaTauri. You'd think with the Italian heritage of these two teams, they'd maybe try and work together, but not so. And in fact, that's backed Tim up, and he's actually on the verge of breaking or of having the DRS broken there is he goes a little bit deep into that awkward right-hander, so a little bit flustered there, Tim, by Donkey. But yeah, sorry Adam, what were you talking about? As he hits the wall actually, Tim.
Yeah, he does, yeah. So he's nearly lost it, but he just about held it. He may lose the place to Donkey here. Donkey's got a great run on him. Is Donkey going to be feeling bold to go into turn 15? I think he might be a bit too far back, but yeah, a bit of a surprise there from Donkey trying to fight that. He's on very old tyres to see a discarded piece of Racing Point, I believe that was, recognised it from the sponsorship. But yeah, Donkey on 12 lap medium tyres did not really need to pick a fight with Tim Wenting, and maybe now is a good opportunity for him to consider coming into the pits. So there's quite a gap of drivers behind him, but we'll see what Donkey does here. Is he going to go for the pits, or is he going to try and overtake Tim? He's got a DRS open. He's going to go for it, I think, Donkey. Yeah, he pulls to the inside, and Donkey, well, we were saying he doesn't need to go for it, but he certainly isn't listening to the commentators in the box and goes down the inside and re-overtakes Tim. And as you mentioned, Alex, Tim getting very flustered after that battle there, losing his cool a little bit, falling behind, and now he's under pressure not only from Donkey, but as you said, Maiko in the Mercedes right behind him, keeping him honest and keeping him on his toes. This is getting very interesting as now Tim goes from over the inside. Donkey squeezes him as much as he can, but Donkey outbrakes himself. That should allow Tim to get a move around the outside, but will Donkey fight it back this time? He does. They bang wheels, and that sends Tim into the wall. Is there damage on that Ferrari? He looks like he's okay, at least from what we can see. Donkey still trying to fight him. This is brilliant stuff. Oh, they're colliding again, and now Donkey bounces over the curbs, and he's hit the wall, and that's put Maiko into the wall as well. And I'll be honest with you, Alex, very, very unnecessary move there, I believe, from Donkey. Might as well should have just given it up, but Maiko getting a penalty, that will surely be removed.
Yeah, there's nothing the stewards can't remove. I don't want to say he deserved that, but Adam, I think he deserved that. Interesting, you know, on 13 lap old mediums, why would you go, you know, Donkey would know that Tim's fighting for the race lead. You know, he knows the age of his tyres. He knows that Tim's not in his fight. I don't see why he'd lose so much time in his own race fighting for that spot. Crazy racing, and I'm convinced the stewards will have a look at that. Unfortunately, for the second race in a row, Maiko's race has been... Was it Maiko? You have to bear with me, but Maiko, yeah. Was it Mike? Yeah. Maiko's race has been tarnished by this.
Through no fault of his own, yeah.
Yeah, through no fault of his. That's what I was trying to get to. I was trying to refresh my memory. I had a very busy week actually, but Monster having a little look down the inside of Maiko. Shame for Maiko, but he's going to get his head down. Just talking about Tim, we were before that whole battle erupted. I know Tim very personally through our connection in VRL, and yeah, he can be quite quick to rage and get quite hot under the collar, and I think that may have been what we saw before a couple of laps ago, where we saw he hit the wall, he lit up the rear tyres. I'm not going to attribute any blame to Tim for that incident, but he did turn in with that Toro Rosso wrongly down the inside, so yeah, Tim just a little bit angry, a little bit hot under the collar. That's not a trait that drivers want to possess. There's a car in the wall. Is that Donkey? I think Donkey's come out the pits and put it in the wall, Adam. Yeah, he hasn't. I apologise. I believe that's Lorenzo.
Surely not.
Yeah, I apologise to Donkey for that one if he's watching this back. Yeah, Lorenzo in the wall. He's got no front wing, and he'll have to stop.
Yeah, but of course that was Donkey's second stop of the race, hence why he's put the medium tyres on. But as we said, Alex, interesting choice there from him. Of course, hindsight literally is 20/20, pun intended. But yeah, I don't understand why he stayed out that extra lap to fight with Tim. Of course, it's very tempting, but you're not in the same race as he is. Of course, now we see Danny Heckamper coming into the pits for third place, and all that's done, as we saw, literally half a lap later, put it in the wrong place, bouncing over the curbs, and not only wrecking his race, but of course wrecking Maiko's race as well. Of course, Maiko manages to hold on to fourth at the moment, so he's okay, but he's got Monster to battle behind him. He's got Benjamin Idaho Gamer, who's on 3-lap fresher, harder tyres as well. And of course, Danny Heckamper just coming out now. He's got to try and get out in front of the chase back behind him.
It's going to be close.
He doesn't. Oh, he's got Matthias Gamer just ahead of him, but he might be able to use the DRS to overtake him. This is going to be critical now because he's on the soft tyres. He is going to be like a bullet in this final stage of the race, Danny Hetkamper. Of course, he's got to make those tyres last to the end. He's going to be doing 10 laps on this.
No!
Oh, and Matty's game has gone.
He's hit the wall on the inside. Safety car has been deployed, so as predicted, we got another one today. That is perfect news for Danny Hetkamper, just like his teammate last week, strapping on soft tyres for the final portion of the race. This is bad news for Kai. This is exactly what he didn't need. Will he pit or will he stay out? It's stick or twist. He's also got a little bit of damage to that front wing, Adam. So surely,
question, Alex. Stick or twist? Because you're absolutely right. With that wing damage, that may be the difference between him choosing to pit and not choosing to pit because of the extra time in the pit lane. He's got a 9-second gap to Darth FIFA. Will he be bold and try and pit now? I'll be honest with you, Alex, if it were me, if he wants to win this race, I would put on a fresh set of soft tyres on and change that front wing, because he's not going to be able to keep Darth FIFA behind him with a damaged front wing and 5-lap older hards, and he is going into the pits.
Yeah, there he is.
So, But yeah, you're absolutely right. Danny Hetkamper, what a treat this is going to be for him. What will the others do? Will they stay out?
Darth FIFA
pits. What will Tim do? Will he pit? I mean, Tim doesn't look like he's going to pits. He is now. So
I think he was debating that. He was on the line, quite literally.
He's trying to tease me, but Maiko stays out. Monster pits. So we're seeing a gamble here. Benjamin R Double Gamer is going to be double stacked again.
He is. I've noticed Kai is out ahead of Darth FIFA, so his buffer was enough.
I'll tell you what, that switch was just about right, but he puts on the medium tyres. Double Gamer, there's a bit conservative there, but as we saw, Danny Hetkamper up into 4th place.
Yeah, as I said earlier, them soft tyres do burn up really quickly. Medium tyres, though, it may be the case that he doesn't have any fresh softs. That is likely come the end of a race weekend. But who has this benefited? It's probably benefited. I think Maiko might get swallowed up here, Adam. You know, he's got 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th behind him, all on soft tyres. SVDL on relatively fresh medium tyres, so he might struggle to keep up with the guys ahead, but should have granted him some good points today if he can keep it clean. Monster on fresh softs, Audible Gamer on fresh mediums, Bendel, on fresh softs. There's so many drivers on fresh softs, and Maiko's going to really struggle here on these tyres, and I think we might have a bit of a scene into turn 1 in a couple laps when DRS is enabled.
Oh, this is going to be really exciting. I'll tell you what, guys, if you are not comfortable now to get ready for some racing, strap yourselves in, because these last 5 or 6 laps are going to be electric. I definitely guarantee you that. One caveat I will throw, though, Alex, and yes, even though it does look likely that Maiko, as we mentioned, is going to get swallowed up by the cars behind him on fresher, softer compounds of tyres. Going back to the Bahrain Grand Prix earlier in the season, we had a similar incident with Simon Boktor-Menz, former Mercedes driver. Did the same thing. He stayed out on older tyres. Seemed like the wrong choice. He didn't win that race, of course he comes 2nd, but because the drivers behind him were all on fresher boots and fighting amongst each other, he was able to build enough of a buffer behind him that by the time they caught him, it was too late to overtake him. Not sure if that's going to happen today, but maybe that's in Maiko's thought process. Maybe he doesn't think he's going to win, but he at least hopes that if the guys behind him can fight amongst themselves, it might give him an opportunity to try and avoid battling, at least until it's too late.
Yeah, of course. Maiko he led away the first safety car. He's also going to lead away the second safety car, which I would predict will be coming in come the end of this lap. It should be absolutely crazy. One thing I am hearing in the chat is that I believe Ice-T has a DRS failure, or had a DRS failure, as he comes in to fix some front wing damage. So that is why his progress rather stopped come that second stint. Hopefully for his sake, and for the sake of Racing Point, they need the points for their respective Constructors' Championship battles. Hopefully that is fixed and he can get to using that 3 laps after the safety car has come in, Adam.
But of course, we mentioned the Constructors' Championship as well. This is a big day for Mercedes. Of course, they've got the star-studded lineup on the grid now with the 2 championship protagonists from last season in the same team, both in the top 3. Of course, that remains to be seen if that will stay that way towards the end of the race. And a big opportunity for them, if they can convert at least the positions they're in right now. That's a huge amount of points. That's 40 points in the bag for Mercedes, which will go a long way in this championship battle with Racing Point and Ferrari as well. Just looking through the field as well, our hero from Monaco, Joran, down in 8th position. Haven't spoken much of him of this race so far, but he's on very old hard tyres, similar position to Maiko, but a bit further down, so he's going to have a very difficult time to get into to score points today. And looking further down, as you can see, Passion as well, Williams. Now, I'm not going to try and put commentator's curse, so forgive me, Williams, and of course Matthias, the team boss of Williams as well, if I put the jinx on you. But Monster, doing what he's been doing all season, solid point scorer, but right now, a very good opportunity to finally break the hoodoo for Williams and get their first championship points of the season. Of course, Compassion primarily poised in there as well to take advantage of any mistakes that happen ahead of him. So we're looking forward to seeing if Williams can finally get some points on the board for the season. But
believe Compassion may be under investigation by the stewards there for a few instances earlier on in the race, so that card may be taken off the table in terms of points for Williams, but I'm sure their hope will be resting in Monster at the moment, who's up in 6th position on softer, fresher tyres than the car ahead. He could pick up some good points and the first point of the season for Williams, which is still crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying that given some of the lineups that they've had, Adam. It's been quite something. Safety car goes on.
We can talk about the lineup for Williams. I mean, it's crazy how so many great drivers in this league that have driven for Williams this season have not scored points. I mean, we've got Luke, of course, was unsuccessful, amazingly was unsuccessful. He was so good towards the end of last season. He won the last race of the season, if I remember rightly, a former EuroLeague Tier 1.
In Mexico.
And it just never really went for him. Of course, we had Felix, another great driver that you and I both know very, very well.
Happy birthday, Felix. I'd like to say that. It's Felix's birthday.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well. Hopefully he's watching this, and if he's not, then I have to give him a nudge and tell him that we wish him happy birthday. So he has to watch, like, share, and subscribe.
All the nudges from Felix. Hopefully he can make many graphics on his birthday. Some insiders will get that. Luke actually
looking forward to that.
Yeah, coming to correct us, Adam. We can't do anything, right? Luke's saying he didn't win. He crossed the line first, but he actually lost the win on penalties back in Mexico. Nevertheless, on track win. You know, we can never do anything right, can we, Adam? Yeah, we can't stream on time.
That's why we're in the booth and not on the track. I mean, could you imagine? Imagine me on the track. Oh god, managed to keep all four wheels on the road. That'd be an achievement. But yeah, I mean, as we're saying with Williams, obviously we had Felix, we had Luke, we've had Tim, of course, and ever since last season, how successful they were with Darcy from Felix, and that was a great pairing. It really was. They just haven't got it together for whatever reason. I'm just really hoping for their sake that they've got two very good drivers as well. Two very good informed drivers. Hopefully that trend will be broken and they can get back to where they belong. But of course, safety car in for this lap. Hope these guys have got a hot drink, strap yourselves in, turn up the volume, leave the kids at grandma's, take the phone off the hook as well, because we don't want any further interruptions. We are about to go racing, hopefully for the last dash, and we're here in Azerbaijan in the streets of Baku. This is going to be exciting.
Of course, as of right now, please do not leave the kids at grandma's, but if you do, please make sure they're maintaining a 2-meter distance in the garden. If you're a single mom, you are able to go and visit. Hopefully this current situation will be over relatively soon, but right now the car's very much not social distancing down the main straight. Maiko can wait as long as he wants for that safety car to come in. I believe there's been contact further back between Kerem and Bendel, as there's been a few time penalties being dished out. Maybe stuff that can be removed, as I believe Maiko has now gone just as he crosses the straight finish line. Here we go now, into turn number 1. Kai just behind AMG, who had a very good restart. Darth Viva dropped back a little bit. Danny Hetkamper still in 4th. Monster side by side with SVDL. Monster actually ahead of SVDL, as it looks like Compassion's actually up into P8. So what a restart he's had so far on the medium tyres. Tim Wentink now pressurising the Haas driver for P6, who may start to drop back in this race. Talking about dropping back, Maiko, 15 lap old, medium tyres. There goes Kai with a little switchback line. He's made that move, stick up into the lead of the race. What a move by the Racing Point driver. He now needs to stretch them legs. And there goes Darth FIFA, maybe looking for a move on his teammate. How much of a fight will AMG put up to his teammate? Because we've got to remember. Yeah, he needs to let him know.
He's holding him up, Alex. I just feel like it looked like he was having an opportunity to overtake him there, and of course, sorry for interrupting, but he's just got in front of him and he's now slowing his teammate down. This is just going to allow Kai to get away. He has to let Darth FIFA through to try and fight for the win, otherwise Mercedes are going to have to settle for at least one podium. We don't know if Michael's going to hold on to the other one as well, but what a move from Kai to get the lead there. Had to be done.
Yeah, I think there's a battle going on between Bendel and Compassion now as we go down into the final couple of corners. But yeah, as you mentioned, Darth FIFA really needs to clear his teammate pretty soon. This will be his best chance to do so. So far this lap, he's got the slipstream, he's got all the ERS power in the world after 3 laps under the safety car. I believe he's going to make a move. Maiko, as you can see by the lights flashing, conserving his battery, not putting up too much of a fight for his teammate there, who goes round the outside of turn number 1. And Maiko relegated to P3, and expect to see him drop off the podium as Heckkamper, Monster and Tim Wenting, who's just moved past SVDL there, is up into 6. They're all coming with him and will pressurise Maiko relatively soon. We've only got 4 laps left in this race. Can Maiko hold on, and can Darth FIFA close to within a second and maybe challenge Kai Elting for the lead of this race, Adam?
Well, if he can get in the 1 second DRS, which currently is kind of differing through in and out of at the moment, he may
got a virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car.
Yeah, Karen was sideways between turns 3 and 4. Contact, I believe, with Donkey, who's been in the wars again today. Thankfully, this isn't a full safety car, and we should go back to racing in just a moment. I just had a little reminder on the chat about penalties. Penalties quite hard to pick up around here. Kai with no penalties, Darth FIFA also with no penalties, 1 warning off a penalty. However, AMG with 1 penalty though, so that is going to hinder his progress even more. However, it's still all looking relatively clean between the top drivers. Tim, the only driver in the top 6 with a penalty other than Maiko, as we should be going green in just a moment.
Yeah, they're very, very well behaved at the moment, but as you can see, the Delta there trying to honour it, as it looks like they're about to get underway very, very soon. But as you can see, Darth FIFA now they've been released. Darth FIFA, of course, he won't get DRS on this lap. They have to wait at least.
Heckkamper's got a good run. This is for the final podium position. Last week's pole sitter is going to go round the outside of FEL. AMG defending to the inside. Further back, Tim Wenting making a move on the Williams, his former team. He goes up into P5. Heckkamper goes round the outside of Maiko. What a move by the Renault driver. Here comes Tim Wenting round the outside of Maiko. Another great move. Maiko's dropped 2 positions in 2 corners, and he might drop another one to Monster, because here comes Monster around the outside. Good move by him, assisted by the DRS as they go into turn number 3. AMG down to 6 now. Can Compassion make a move, who's battling side by side with SVDL, who's gone backwards so far after the safety car restart? Blundell might get in the action now, Adam.
Oh, it's just all over the place. There's chaos everywhere, but it's beautiful overtaking. Of course, Danny Heckkamper making that move. I'm just looking at the battle for 8th and 9th between SVDL, the Tier 3 Championship leader, and Bendel, who's given him a bit of a nudge for good measure. But as we saw, Danny Heckkamper being very bold, very brave, but equally brilliant round the outside of turn 1. And now Tim Wenting. Oh, Tim's lost it! Tim's lost it, Alex! Oh my goodness.
Oh no, we know that Tim has recently changed to no assists, and we saw him light up the tyres in that exact place earlier on, Adam, after what was such an incredible move, such an incredible move at the start of this lap. He's thrown it all away, and it looks as if maybe the Williams curse is still with him, because I believe he's got a little bit of damage to that front wing. Yes, he does. So it looks like Tim's new team, but the same look, as it looks like Magic Alonso now is actually going to get the final points position, as he's made a move past Johan. What a shame for the Ferrari driver. It's looking so good for Ferrari, and all of a sudden they're 9th and 10th as Tim's now dropped out of the points. It's further forward, I believe. Compassion's got past AMG. Yes, he has. Compassion up into 5th position. So it looks like Williams is turning around maybe from what was the opposite early on. Tim retires from the session at SVDL, as you mentioned. Tier 3 championship leader. He's been spun around by Hardcore Gamer. It's all going off in the final couple of laps. I'm losing my voice here, Adam. The second time I've commentated in the last 2 days. And wow, it's absolutely crazy. Hardcore Gamer locks up and goes into the wall. It's all going off. It looks like some guy's grip has just fallen off a cliff here. The medium tyre is not working at all for Hardcore Gamer. Meanwhile, that's promoted Uran up into 9th position. We didn't think he'd even get points after the second safety car. Things have changed though. He's up into 9th. We've got drivers dropping off like flies left, right and centre here, Adam, as Monster still pressurising Danny Hetkamper for the final podium position.
And it looks like Williams, hopefully I'm not jinxing it there, but Hoodoo could be over once and for all and could get a podium here if Monster plays his cars right. But further up the front, Darth FIFA crucially has caught Kai Elting. He is now 6/10 of a second behind him, well in the DRS zone now. Just looking at the two of them, it looks like can Darth FIFA, after it looked like the race might have been gone from him earlier on in the race, has finally caught up to Kai. This is the battle we have been waiting for all season long, Alex. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Kai or is it going to be Darth FIFA? Is the champion finally going to get his own back on Kyle's? Cannot wait. 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go actually. He's got a great run in him, but not close enough this time around. He'll be shaping up for a move around the inside, perhaps on the next lap. Further down, Danny Hetkamper just about keeping Monster behind him. Compassion comfortable in 5th place. Can he bring it home? And of course, Maiko in 6th position on 19 lap old hard tyres. What an effort from him. But as we said, as we predicted, it's falling away from him very, very quickly, Alex.
It is, and it's so close between the top two. That DRS really pulled Darth FIFA back into contention. You know, the fond memory of VRL Season 3 here at Baku, where I believe Steve won the race by just 7,000th of a second on the line. Could this happen again today between these two giants of Formula Euroleague? They've gone toe-to-toe on differing strategies throughout the race. Their paths have met just at the end, and this is going to be an absolutely enthralling race. As my co-commentator from Vision Racing League once said, all out, all in, one mistake and the lead of the race win is gone. These two have raced at absolutely blistering pace of the 26 laps of the Azerbaijan street circuit. They've got one left to navigate. Who's going to pick up the win here, Adam? It's in the hands of the gods at the moment. I cannot predict it right now. Darth FIFA's so close. He's going to get 2 more chances with main DRS down the main straight. He looks as if he's dropped back a little bit there from Kai, who seems to have deployed his battery. Is he close enough for a move this time round though, Adam?
Oh, to know he's catching him quite quickly here. Got a bit greedy going into turn 15, losing gap. DRS has opened up for him. Look at that toe he's getting. He's literally pulling Kai towards him as now we begin the final lap.
Here goes Monster down the inside of Danny Hetkamper, down the inside of turn number 1. What a move by the Williams driver. Is that voodoo finally broken? He's got one more lap to hold on to P3 and bring home Williams' first podium since the last season here in FVL. Meanwhile, Darth FIFA so close to Kyle Ting. He's going to look down the inside. Can't make it stick. You can argue he's maybe got one more overtaking position here, and that will be potentially over the line, Adam.
Oh, this is going to be brilliant, guys. Set your cameras on to record. This one's going to get very bumpy now. 20 corners to negotiate, but Darth FIFA almost losing the rear end there. And now we approach the tight and twisty castle section. What is going through their minds? We said it was in the hands of the gods, and we've got 2 of them right here driving high-octane Formula 1 cars through the streets of Baku. Literally nothing but a bus ticket separating the 2 of them at the moment. This is brilliant stuff. Who's it going to be over the line, Alex? It's too close to call. I have no idea, but this is brilliant stuff.
I can't quite see Kai's ERS bar as he breaks into one of the final main braking zones of the circuit. Just 4 tenths separating the 2 drivers. This exit is going to be crucial. Darth FIFA's gotten off. They've negotiated every braking zone they've had to. It's now in the hands. Does Kai have enough straight line speed? He's really opening.
Kai's lost control.
It's going to be so close between the two. There goes Darth FIFA.
I think he's going to get him.
He's going to get DRS, he's got ERS to deploy. They're going to be side by side across the lead. Darth FIFA takes the lead of the race on the final lap, on the final meters of the race. Darth FIFA wins an incredible, a memorable Formula Euroleague, I apologise, I don't know what to say. What a race, what an ending. Darth FIFA leads, he wins the Formula Euroleague Baku Grand Prix. Kyle Ting put up such a good fight. He gambled under the safety car. We thought it was going to go his way, but no, Darth FIFA, the reigning champion, prevails. Wow, I've never seen a close-up in my league racing career. What what a finish, Adam.
Well, we said Baku was going to throw up a highlight, and it certainly has done. Despite donning the silver arrow, swapping that from the Scuderia, he has done it once again. The championship leader and the race winner here in Baku seemed almost a certainty it wasn't going to be his day, but just at the death, Darth FIFA, the winner of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Formula Euroleague. What a astounding finish. Commiserations, of course, to Kai Elton. Drove a brilliant race, but unfortunately losing the rear end just a little bit, just a smidgen towards the end of that last sector, and that was enough to allow Darth FIFA to pull alongside him and steal that victory. And there you go, Alex, a tenth of a second.
And if it wasn't for that mistake, it could have been even less, or it could have been Kai on the top step, but the championship battle rages on. Darth FIFA wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I have to commend all of the drivers who made it. It's so hard to race at such a high pace, which you saw the drivers racing at today, and it's the credit to all the drivers in Formula Euroleague. Darth FIFA wins. Kyle Ting in second. Monster, as you said, breaking the voodoo, breaking the mould. Third place for Monster, the Austrian driver. I'm sure will be pretty satisfied with that. Again, Williams third and fifth. I did mention Compassion maybe under investigation. However, nevertheless, that's some solid points scored on a provisional basis. Heckkamper fourth, just missed out on the podium. But wow, commiserations to AMG, probably deserved more today. Could have made a better decision under the safety car, but you know, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. And unfortunately, AMG bought a ticket, but it was the wrong one. And wow, my voice is going, Adam. That was one of the best races I've ever commentated on. Funnily enough, it's up there with Baku from VRL Season 4, which I do urge anyone who has about an hour of their time free in lockdown to go and watch that. But wow, that was such fun commentating. Adam, thanks so much for joining me, and thank you everyone on the stream. And I will just invite them drivers now. Adam, I actually forgot. That's how that's how flustered I am.
It had everything. It had safety cars, of course. We mentioned safety cars in this race, how many there could be and how that was going to affect strategy. We had crashes, we had brilliant overtakes, we had a last lap dash to the line between the two guys, the leading protagonists in this championship, and of course the top three in the championship finishing 1, 2, 3 in that order on the podium. And of course a massive shout out to Monster and of course Compassion as well for the Williams team. Finally Williams have scored points, and of course we are joined now by our race winner, the Darth FIFA, Thomas.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure you didn't expect to hear my voice today, but nonetheless, what an incredible drive and what a fantastic way to win that race. How must you be feeling right now after that incredible drive?
Really, really happy. So close. Yeah, did not expect to get him. So I thought it was lap 25 when we started final lap and I was low now. And then I see Kai. I knew from the laps I was behind him that he was very strong in the last sector with the high bump. So I didn't think I could catch him, and then he makes a mistake, I think, in the fast straight line thin corners, the last two. So then I overtook him on the line. I'm just really happy with this result. I think this was the best one of the season. also with a strong qualifying. So happy.
And of course, your first time out for your new team, Mercedes, are obviously going to be very, very delighted with your performance in particular. But I mean, the way the race was going, it almost seemed like Kai was going to run away with it. Would you say that safety car at the end of the race really was the turning point for you to get you that win?
I think Kai won't make it to the end on those hard, so I think I would have catched him. Gap was only 7 seconds, and he had 6 laps older tires. So yes, his tires would absolutely be done. I think he could risk a puncture the last 2-3 laps. So I think I could have catched him, and maybe it would have been a lot easier for me. But that's just my opinion. Of course, if you look at it, you might say it was because of the safety car, but I think I could have catched him because he was just on 6 lap older tires, and also on the soft side at the pace. So yeah.
But of course, obviously, you and Kai have been battling out this season, and of course, despite you leading the championship, Kai has obviously had the upper hand for a lot of your on-track battles. But how does it feel today to obviously get one over Kai, your championship rival, to really beat him in a straight fight between the two of you? That must feel pretty sweet today.
Yeah, really nice. It's not a spin of him or something. It's just a straight up battle, and I won it, and I'm really happy with this. Yeah, just 18 points ahead now, I think. Just crazy. I think no one could have thought that I will be in the championship lead at this point of the season, but yet I am. So I'm really happy with it.
I know it's quite early to speculate in this season, Thomas, and I have to congratulate you on your drive today. Obviously, with that gap you now have at the top of the standings, and you're definitely looking like a certain title protagonist, do you start to think about maybe bagging a second championship, or is it too early to call at this point?
Yeah, I mean, if you win championship points, I think you always think about winning it again, especially if you're in championship leads. You see your chances are very low, but as the chances are there, you just have to take them. And that's exactly what I did last season. So why can't I do it this season?
Fair enough. Well, I have to say, awesome race from yourself and everyone else. I don't believe we have Kai joining us today, Adam.
No, Kai has kindly messaged me to say that he's not able to join the post-race interview, which is a shame. Would have loved to have spoken to Kai, but I can understand under the circumstances. It's a very... I don't think I'd be in a very talkative mood after the way that race finished. But of course, we should mention Kai drove a fantastic race, and the brutal nature of Baku, where you can have that race in the bag and literally get pipped over the line in that fashion. We've seen it so often in Baku. That's why we absolutely love it. But as we said, another great drive from Kai, great drive from Darth Fever, and hope for more of that between these two as the season progresses on. But of course, I believe, do we have Monster with us?
Yeah, you just asked me to join.
Ah, brilliant.
So I think if you invite him, he will join.
Yeah, apologies to him. He didn't come up on my suggested list. He's invited now, but yeah, congratulations, Thomas, for that race win. An epic final lap, and I don't know how you kept your cool, because I know I certainly would not have been able to keep it that smooth and that close to Kai throughout that final lap. And to be honest, throughout the whole race, I think you did a really good job. So congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck into next race.
Thank you.
And speak of the devil, and he shall appear, Monster. I don't imagine you planned on hearing my voice after this race. I was just saying to Darth Fever, but obviously another solid podium from yourself. It's almost a regular occurrence. I'm expecting to talk to you after every race, but how do you feel after that race? How was that for you?
It was a really tough one, seriously. I think me and Korn did a really good comeback. At the beginning, it was a really, terrible race for me because I got front wing damage, and I didn't give up and fight it back. And I think that P3 was well deserved.
Well, I mean, I mean, P3's an excellent drive, a great performance, and obviously you took your chances when they came. You mentioned the difficulties earlier on in the race. I mean, how was it obviously for you driving through the field today? I mean, safety cars galore, but obviously that overtake on the end from Danny Hetkamp. What was going through your mind to make that move? Were you feeling brave, or did you feel like that move was inevitable for you, like you were going to get it done?
Yeah, I was screaming like shit in the party, sorry for that word, but it was really, a really good feeling to overtake him, because after such a terrible race, it was really nice, and yeah, just beautiful.
And of course, we should mention a special congratulations for you and your teammate Compassion. Finally, you guys have broken the hoodoo, the curse that Williams have had. They've not scored points this season up until today, and of course, a third and a fifth place will be very much appreciated, of course. So a podium for yourself. You must be delighted, of course, to get those points for Williams today. I'm sure Matthias will be.
Yeah.
I think I know Matthias from last season. I think he's just now dancing behind his PlayStation.
I could imagine. Having worked with him, I can imagine what reaction he's got going on right now. And but no, brilliant stuff, Monster. Again, it's great to see you're continuing your fine form. Of course, we've been talking a lot about Darfi and Kai, our championship protagonist, but you're still in the fight as well. So, I mean, I've asked you this a few times already, and I'm going to ask you again, but do you feel that perhaps you still have an outside chance of getting in that fight between those two as the season progresses on next year? Of course, we've got the F1 2020 game that may suit your style more than Kai and Darfifa.
Yeah, I mean, the gap is really, really big to the leaders, but I mean, the pace is there. I see the pace. I got the pace to drive for podiums now after like 4 races. But yeah, hopefully the F1 2020 game gives me more chances of winning, maybe. But yeah, I'm happy with the situation.
I hope the same, Monster. I hope F1 2020 will be more favorite for Red Bull.
Maybe more for control.
I mean, for me, it must be like the same. So steering, everything. So you don't have the traction like in the rain. It's just ridiculous. I mean, like that's not normal. So it has to be the same for everyone. So I think that's what I would like, and I hope it will be like that. So yeah, F1 2020 will also be a great change in the championship.
Yeah,
absolutely. But no, thank you very much, guys. Once again, excellent stuff. Congratulations on your performances, and thank you so much for giving us an absolutely entertaining show. That was absolutely brilliant stuff from the pair of you, and Kai, of course, as well. So, Alex, final thoughts on that incredible race now that you've caught your breath and got your bearings together? I mean, what a finish!
Yeah, I need a drink. I think I liked your little comment of I can imagine Matthias's reaction right now. It made me chuckle. But I'm sure he's going crazy, and it's nice to see Williams breaking them all, getting some points, scarily realistic to their real life endeavours over the last couple of years. But maybe a podium here means they'll get a podium in Austria in just a few weeks' time. But that's the real life. We're in the virtual world, and I have to say it's been an incredible race. Thank you, Adam, for joining me on a very last-minute basis.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and of course I'll be hoping to be back on a regular basis with you guys. I know it's been a very, very short break. I was anticipating it was going to be longer, but I'll tell you what, I've absolutely loved this race, and I'm glad that my time away was not very, very long. But thank you again for having me, Alex. It's been brilliant working with you once again.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not sure if I'll be back next week. I'm sort of backup reserve number 2 commentator for you guys, so it may be normal service resumed with Adam, Matthias. It may be me and Matthias. It may be me and Adam. We'll have to see. It's like a lucky dip, as is a lot of the races here, and it's been such incredible racing. And I think it's a testament to the drivers in this league. They managed to make Monaco interesting, and they managed to make Baku even crazier than our expectations, which are already sky high. So I thought it was incredible. Remember, you guys watching live right now, you can watch this race when it's uploaded to YouTube, I believe tomorrow, Adam?
Yes, will be tomorrow, and of course you can like, share and subscribe, not just to YouTube but to the Twitch channels as well, all of which is twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League, and of course the YouTube channel is Formula_Euro_League. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channels as well. And I suppose that's all that's left to say, Alex, to sign off is what is the margin for winning and losing? Well, according to Darth FIFA, just a tenth of a second. So thanks very much, guys. Take care and all the best.
Cheers, guys.